The battle between JD Vance and Tim Walz continues as JD Vance attacked Tim Walz and his wife today, but he immediately regretted this as what he said completely backfired on him. Now, the statement that he made came from an interview that he did today, so we'll take a look at that clip, but first we need to see specifically what he and every Republican is up in arms about. So as you are probably aware, Tim Walz and Kamala Harris have been doing a lot of rallies together lately, and at one of those rallies, Tim Walz's wife came up on stage to meet him. So with that context, let me go ahead and show you the clip of what happened. Now, it is pretty short, so I'll play it a couple of times so you can make sure you can see it. Now, for those of you asking, what's wrong with this clip? I agree. Personally, I don't see anything weird about this. But Republicans are saying that this was weird of Tim Walz because why would he not hug his wife normally? Well, first of all, different couples have different values and ways of interacting and showing their love. So don't try to put everyone in the same weird conservative box with how a husband and wife should interact. Second of all, I think the purpose of this interaction was more to hype up Tim Walz, not so much to have a calm, loving hug. To me, his wife's facial expression and body language shows that she is excited for her husband and is trying to hype him up a bit. And I think the handshake and hug go perfectly with the vibe of trying to hype someone up. So that's why I didn't think anything about this was weird. It was just their way of being excited for each other. But like I said, every Republican, including JD Vance, thought that this was a little bit weird. So let's take a look at what JD Vance said, and then I'll show you how this backfired on him and every other Republican.
I want to move on to something that Governor Walz has called you and Donald Trump, and that is weird.
Sure.
And it is taken off. The New York Times reports that when Donald Trump was asked about it, he said, "Not me, they're talking about JD."
Well, certainly they've levied that charge against me more than anybody else, but I think that it drives home how they're trying to distract from their own policy failures. I mean, look, this is fundamentally schoolyard bully stuff. They can accuse me of whatever they want to accuse me of. As Harry S. Truman once said, if you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen. And I'm doing this because I think that me being vice president will help improve people's lives. So I accept their attacks, but I think that it is a little bit of projection, Dana. If you think about just take a couple of days ago. Tim Walz gives this big speech. He's been announced as the VP nominee. And I remember when I had just been announced as the VP nominee, I gave my big speech and I saw my wife and I gave her a big hug and a kiss because I love my wife and I think that's what a normal person does. Tim Walz gave his wife a nice, firm Midwestern handshake and then tried to sort of awkwardly correct for it. So I think that what it is two people, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, who aren't comfortable in their own skin because they aren't comfortable with their policy positions for the American people. And so they're name calling instead of actually telling the American people how they're going to make their lives better. I think that's weird, Dana, but look, they can call me whatever they want to.
You're saying Tim Walz doesn't have affection for his wife? I don't even understand that.
I said that he acted weird, which he did, on a national stage in front of his wife and in front of millions of Americans who presumably were watching at home. And I think that it's projection, Dana. Look.
Isn't it funny how even the host was like, wait, so you're saying that he doesn't love his wife? And JD Vance had to immediately backtrack because that's essentially what he said given the context. But obviously that is a really bad look to have, so he had to quickly correct himself and say, oh, no, I was just calling him weird. Like, okay, nice try there, JD. But it wasn't just JD Vance who was making fun of Tim Walz for this. Donald Trump Jr. also sent out this tweet that says, totally normal to greet your wife with a firm handshake and a bro hug / back slap. Tim Walz isn't weird at all, guys, with 3 laughing face emojis. So clearly, this is the path that these Republicans want to go down. But why is this rhetoric backfiring on them so hard? Well, it should be very easy to tell why after looking at these clips.
feels very strongly that the UK should not invest in Huawei 5G technology. And on the trade side, the whole range of services in agriculture, it's all very contentious and difficult and will require...
Thank you, Hanneke. Fantastic stuff. Really doing poorly. We're a laughing stock all over the world, and we're going to get that changed very quickly. And this has been some...
Trump, are you going to return to the campaign trail with your husband? Stay tuned.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to claim that Tim Walz is weird for loving his wife when Trump and Melania clearly don't even just love each other. And every tweet from Republicans saying that, oh, Tim Walz is weird is filled with replies of these clips. Because they really have no right to speak when their main guy has the most awkward interactions with his wife. So not only was the Tim Walz interaction just not even that weird, but it's just sad that Republicans have so little against Tim Walz that they have to attack him for his wife hyping him up. And if this is all that they have, then we're probably not going to be facing too many difficulties going into this November, are we?